Welcome back to All Things Have Standing. In our first set of gatherings, I presented a psychological overview of human nature, starting with existentialists' claim that we are the only form of life for whom the question of meaning arises, and therefore the meaning of being should be the superordinate or central question for all of philosophical and psychological inquiry. We then explored the evolutionary pathway from primates to people and learned that our tremendous success as a species results from cumulative cultural evolution, and that under optimal conditions, human beings are fundamentally highly social and cooperative creatures who are quite morally virtuous and altruistic towards members of our groups. Finally, we investigated the role of non-being in human affairs, how malignant manifestations of death anxiety can override and undermine our most noble and heroic inclinations and unleash the forces that underlie our contemptuous disregard for nature and our genocidal proclivities towards the other. We concluded the psychology gatherings by noting that while technology, psychology, economics, and political science are all relevant for addressing humanity's most pressing concerns, that the only practical approach to these concerns is ultimately ethical. And this brings us squarely in the domain of philosophy. Can we do the right thing? Are human beings equipped to develop sustainable solutions to large-scale technical and social problems? In the face of things, a different side of ethics, Silvia Benso argues that forestalling future genocidal and ecocidal atrocities requires a radical alteration of ethical sensibilities. Benso develops an alternate ethics that springs from a clever juxtaposition and synthesis of two superficially unrelated philosophies. One devoted to ethical relationships between people, but with little regard for things. Another devoted to recognizing the nature of and importance of things, but with little regard for ethics. Benso concludes that all things have ethical standing and proposes that taking this ethical imperative seriously would engender a life-affirming stance. Let's now trod the philosophical thought paths that Benso traverses in her work and that are also central to the hero's journey in the Spark Hunter file.